Dave, I suppose reflection on last Saturday, win at the Vic. How's this week on the training ground been?
Yeah, another good week for us. Again, using, I suppose, a blank week, midweek fixture-wise, as best as we can. So we played a game on Monday at Middlesbrough, which was a really good exercise for the lads who needed it. And then from then, it's been focus on tomorrow's game. So it's been a good week for us. Look to back up what certainly second half was a really good performance. And keep our run going at home.
You spoke about that training game against Middlesbrough. Some key players got some key minutes in that game as well. Yeah,
everyone who didn't play on Saturday essentially was involved to differing degrees. Cole's got 70 minutes, Joe Gray and Fella got 45 minutes, and then others got 90. Gives us an opportunity to look at a couple of trialists that we've had in as well. So like I say, a really positive exercise against a strong Middlesbrough team, and yeah, very worthwhile. Everything
at the club, especially on the training ground, and he really seems positive at the moment. And obviously that's carried on from Bristol with lads leaving, lads coming in. Has it been a pretty easy transition to keep that, positive atmosphere within the whole squads, especially when you're winning games as well?
Yeah, it has been, because although there's probably a bit of a franticness about the turnaround and what we've been doing, even the lads coming in, and it's been commented upon, lads who've come in on trial and stuff, can sense what we sort of did last year, and we've still carried on that momentum and positivity into what we do. That obviously is then maybe tested a little bit through pre-season results and whatever else, but then once you get into the I suppose the swing of things, we've had a good start to the season, and I think people have been, I suppose, reassured with how we've performed, even though there's a step up in level. The margins are really fine, but we could be sat here, certainly in the games we've played. We've been competitive in all of them, and we could quite easily have won them all. We haven't, but there's been, like I say, really positive signs on that, and that reinforces that what we're doing is right, but also that the step up at the moment we're dealing with, and we're dealing with in a successful way.
Looking towards this weekend, then the build-up towards this game, it almost feels like a little bit of a derby game, I suppose. Really, do you just see it as another game, or do you almost sense that around the lads and stuff like that?
Probably is a bit of a derby game in terms of distance from where we are, certainly with teams that we play against. It's always going to be difficult from our perspective to have a derby because the closest team's 100 miles away. So, but no, listen, I think there's obviously Carlisle will travel in numbers and fill that away end, which will be great. It'll only add to the atmosphere. The atmosphere's been fantastic anyway, so I'm sure that will add to it. From a player's perspective, listen, it's another game, another opportunity for us on our home patch to try and pick up 3 points somewhere where, like I say, we've been really good over the past sort of 18 months. Really, we've had a good run, and we want to make sure that continues. We go into it full of confidence after last week's performance, and hopefully we can produce, like I say, certainly the first 20 minutes of the second half for me was as close to as good as we're gonna be, and that period then won us the game. Hopefully we can continue to build on that and be able to produce that type of performance for a longer period of time.
How do you assess our opposition this weekend? Undefeated, a few draws in there, but obviously a tough side to break down.
Yeah, as with every team we've come up against, we've looked at things that are strengths where we know we've got to deal with what they do, but there's areas where we think we can cause the problems. But it'll be another tough game. But we've got to focus on us whilst respecting what they'll do. But we think we can cause them problems, and we know that we're going to have to deal with things going the other way. But I'm confident we can do that.
Obviously, it's another quick turnaround. Tuesday night we play them again. How much do you look toward Tuesday night at all, or are you just fully focused on obviously tomorrow and then you look at it after that?
No, we won't look towards Tuesday night because Tuesday night will be a completely different game. I have no idea what what they're planning on doing, but we'll plan to make changes. However many changes that is will depend on Saturday, because you've got to look at what happens in the next game, injuries, suspensions, all those type of things that can be. There are variables that you can't control, but we'll look at Tuesday. There will, if everything goes, everything's equal, then we'll make changes. But Tuesday, I'm sure they'll do the same. So that two completely different games. Sole focus is on tomorrow and trying to get 3 points. You
mentioned about tomorrow, and the atmosphere has been brilliant in over the last few games, and you said the away fans are only just going to add to that. You know, it must be a real excitement to obviously play this, I suppose, derby game in front of what's going to be 1,000 Carlisle fans, probably over 5,500 fans overall in the stadium as well. And it must be exciting for everyone, really. Of
course, it is the games you want to play in, and we're fortunate, if you like, as a team, as a group, to be able to have our home games certainly played in an atmosphere and an environment that's massively motivating. And like I say, speaking to people at our association, I've said it in my programme notes really, that I've had an association with the club for a long time. They've never experienced the Vic as it has been over the past few weeks at the start of a season. There's lots of positivity, there's lots of optimism, and we've got to make sure that continues. As I said, even at the back end of last year with the games we had towards the end, there's going to be times through the season when there's some adversity, and when the fans really will help us massively. And I'm sure when that happens, that will be the case. But in the meantime, what we have to do is you have to ride the wave and try and keep building and keep that momentum going, and only try and grow that. And hopefully tomorrow gives us an opportunity to try and make that happen.
In other news this week, obviously Buster announced that he was leaving for his own reasons, and I know you had your quote in there as well. Obviously he's not going to leave until a replacement's found, but you know, how much of a big miss is Buster going to be, not just for the work obviously he does with the squad, but he's a Poolie through and through, really, isn't he?
Yeah, listen, it's been tough. As I said, like I say, with the Joe scenario, really. This year, last year, I think there's things go on that no one has any understanding of. The ideal, or the blue sky thinking part of football is that, oh, you're doing a great job, but it's hugely stressful. And when you add COVID into that, and you add all sorts of outside influences, it becomes tough. To be fair to, like I say, to Bust, he had no idea that. You hope that his business outside of the football grows, but no idea it would grow in the manner which it has. And at some point you have to make a decision. You've got to make a decision that's fit for you, and not just your life now, but your life further down the line. So again, I've said a similar thing in the programme. There'll be lots of speculation. There'll be lots of conspiracy theorists that'll say this, that, and the other. Again, I suppose that's the nature of being involved in a club which is quite a big football club. But like I say, he'll goes with our best wishes. He'll still be at the games. He'll still be a face that is seen all the time. But at the minute, what he's having to deal with, and this is not I suppose a get out for him, is the fact that he's in with us full time. So he'll be in with us from 8 in the morning till, I don't know, 3 in the afternoon, and he's got clients booked in from 3 in the afternoon till 8 at night. And when you're doing that 7 days a week or 6 games a week, and a Saturday you're playing a game, at some point you're going to get frazzled, and you have to make a decision. And he's got to that point now, and totally understand where he's at, and he's making the decision that's best for him. And like I say, there's no issue at all with that. He'll be, like I say, missed as a character because he's unique. He'll still be around the place, but our first and sole responsibility is to replace him as a physio, which we do. Again, we have to do, and he'll be involved in the process of that. And like I say, I'm sure the person we'll get in will be the right fit for us, and we'll move on.
You spoke about these theories, and obviously with Joe leaving and Buster leaving, obviously fans are obviously going to think some fans are obviously going to hit panic button and think it's panic stations. But you've said it previously, and you've said it plenty of times, that everything's under control, really, and it's just the way football works.
again, you can speculate around anything. That's the way it is. You can look at Ross leaving, and the 3 members of staff have left. Again, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but if Chelsea come along and offer me a job, there's a good chance I might move on. And especially if I can play golf every day to sort of deal with that job. Brilliant. So again, it's difficult. You can give lots of information, not too much information. Every single person has moved on for different reasons. Like I say, with Joe's scenario, a little bit around his health, a little bit around personal stuff, which again it's no one else's business really. We've given as much information that we need to, and it'll be up to Joe whether he wants to go into any more about that. But nothing's changed in Joe's scenario. He went and watched an event for me yesterday in not far from his house to look at some players. I spoke to him last night on the phone. He's away this weekend, but he'll be coming to the Tranmere game. We'll be going out after the Tranmere game. He'll be sat in the away end with the Pools fans. There's nothing different. Buster again will continue to be at home games every Saturday. The difference is he'll be able to have a drink rather than be sat with some blue gloves on at the side. Nothing, like I said, there's nothing in terms of fallout, in terms of what might be happening off the pitch. There's nothing in it. It's again pure coincidence. The difficulty from our perspective and my perspective is that we have to replace what are really good people, and it's important, just as it is with players, that you get the right ones in who understand what is the work ethic of the people and understand the responsibility that it comes with. I've had really positive conversations with a few people around certainly looking at someone coming in instead of Joe, and we'll take our time to pick the right person, and it'll be the same with Buster's position, but we'll continue to, like I say, move forward in replacing what are, like I say, really good people.
Just finally, looking back towards this weekend, you mentioned the game on Monday. Any injury news, team news, people returning, people that might not make the cut?
No, I think we're pretty good. We've trained with a big group, probably again sometimes too big a group. So everyone's potentially fit and available. No one treatment room's empty at the moment. There'll be people with little niggles and stuff, but certainly not that will keep anybody out of the selection. So no, really positive on that front.
Dave, thanks very much.
Cheers, thank you.